We're here on a Bauder thermal single ply membrane roof, which is going to receive a green roof. Prior to the installation of the green roof, we're going to probe check the laps, make sure they're properly welded before installation of the green roof. So as you can see, all laps have been checked, they're sound, good to go for the installation of the green roof.
So we've got our first three layers down. We've got our protection fleece, we've got our drainage board, and now we're going to put our filter fleece down. It's a still day today, but if it's windy, it's a good idea to fill the drainage board with water. That holds it in place and stops the wind from blowing it around. So we're putting our filter fleece down. To make sure the substrate can't escape, we're going to have a nice overlap, typically 100 to 150 millimeters. And the function of the filter fleece is to prevent fines from the substrate from being washed out. We're loading out the roof with substrate. For a small roof like this, it makes perfect sense to use small bags. Really important though that when we lay the substrate out, we're not stockpiling it all in one area. So make sure the bags are evenly spread so the load is evenly spread. So we're going to load out our substrate, tipping the bags out. And it's interesting to look at what we've got. Bauder substrate is a mixture of crushed brick, shale, expanded clay and organic material. Very few fines in it, and that makes sure that it won't bind, that it's an open substrate and it will be very free draining. Really important that, because we do not want to overload the roof. Things are progressing. We've got our substrate in place and we've got our edge with our pebble margin. What we're going to do is we're going to push the substrate up to that edge and then backfill with the rounded pebble. Really important that these are all rounded pebbles. There's nothing sharp in there that could damage the membrane. I've got a scaffold board in here which I can pull out and that will give us a nice straight line. We're getting on well here. We've got all our substrate in on the roof, but we now need to shape it. And for a biodiverse roof, we're looking for undulations. So we're looking to take the substrate and just gently form shapes, high points and low points, and just to give it a nice gentle shaping so that you get plants that will enjoy growing on the higher areas where it's more moist, and those more drought tolerant plants will plant up in the valleys. So we've nearly finished our green roof now. We've put our finishes down on the surface, but we're just going to trim this filter fleece up. What we're going to do is we're just going to use a hook knife and cut along the joint, level with the substrate, and so we can just tidy all that up, and then we can just dress to that and give us a nice neat finish. So we're now going to seed this roof. We use Bauder Flora seed mixes, and the reason we use them is they're not just seed. I've got the components here. I've got wildflower seed, and we can see really fine, very difficult to handle. It's getting stuck to my fingers, and it only needs a tiny breeze and this disappears completely. You can imagine how difficult throwing that out onto the roof would be to get even coverage. So what we do is we add a tackifier. You can see this is a fine granules that reacts with the moisture in the roof, and it acts as a glue to glue our seed onto the roof surface, stopping it getting washed into the substrate or blown away by the wind. We then add a really small amount of Bauder's organic slow release fertilizer, and that gives the seed a boost and helps it to germinate quickly and establish itself on the roof. So those are our three components. Here's our roof, we're ready to seed. I've got a fine hose on here, and I'm just going to, a fine spray on here, and I'm just going to water this down. And we're really going to want to soak the substrate. The important thing here is that we get moisture deep into the substrate, and that's then ready to activate the tackifier in the seed mix. I need to put enough water on here because it's a sunny day If we put small amounts of water on there, actually what happens is the water will heat up and evaporate very, very quickly. So we're going to give the roof a really good soaking, especially around the edges, and make sure it's really ready to for us to start seeding. We're soaking the roof prior to seeding it, and literally as soon as we've finished, we want to get our seed mix on. So I've soaked now this first section of roof, leave that to one side, and then what I'm going to do, I've got my seed mix in my bucket here. I've worked out that the mix I've got here will cover the first section of this roof, so I know roughly how much I'm spreading in each area. And what I'm going to do, just very easily, just throwing it out.